Welcome, everybody, to the HRO Sports Betting Podcast. You got Coach here with T coming off a very successful 10-3 week 0 and week 1 record. So, congrats, T, on that. That's awesome. That's putting money in pockets. And we're on to week 2. We're going to talk some of the big games here. And we might provide a little insight a little later on in the week about some of the other games that are outside the top 25 or games that you might have some interest in. But for right now, we're going to focus on that. Our next game we're going to cover starts with a little closer to home for me. It is Washington State versus Wisconsin. That's at Camp Randall this Saturday. And, for me, Wisconsin giving 17 is always a cause for pause. With the Badgers, to lay that many points against another Power 5 opponent makes me think a little bit. On the flip side, though, Wisconsin did look pretty good, and Washington State, maybe they were looking ahead to Wisconsin. One never knows. Yeah. But with that, I fully expect the Badgers to win. Even though Washington State is pretty good against the run, I want to welcome Washington State. Well, they won't be welcome to the Big Ten, so I guess I can't say that. But with that, welcome to Camp Randall. Welcome to trying to stop a power running team and Mr. Braylon Allen, who is going to make a lot of money on Sundays at one point in time in his lifetime. With that, what I'm looking for is the Badger defense to take another step up and really be stingy against a team in Washington State who, let's face it, had some issues with Idaho. And you're not going to Idaho. You're coming to Camp Randall. It's a whole different crowd. It's a whole different story. Look for the Badgers to win. Not going to bet it too close to the heart. And if you really push me, I would take the under in this game. I forget what the over-under is on this. 49 is what we have right now down on paper. I would definitely take the under on that because I don't see Washington State scoring that much. If they put up more than a 14 spot, I'll be amazed. And I don't know that Wisconsin's going to get more than 35 in the game. So that tells me that I would lean under on this one, especially in the first half. T, what are your thoughts?
So as you mentioned, Washington State, they did struggle a little bit with Idaho. They beat them 24-17. That game was 2 scores for most of it. With Idaho, they scored later in the fourth quarter to make it a 1-score game. But, anytime you're a 28.5 point favorite and you only put 24 points on the board, that's when you're not even scoring enough to cover your spread, that's not good. They did do a good job on the ground, as you had mentioned, only giving up about 1.8 yards per carry. But again, that was to Idaho.
Yeah.
And Idaho is not Wisconsin.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
Wisconsin, I thought, looked good.
No.
Beat Illinois State handily 38-0 after a little bit of a slow start. Braylon Allen, he's still one of the best backs in the country. Yeah. He actually set a Badger record. 96-yard touchdown run in that game. Because they set back-to-back records with the 100-yard pick six and then the run. He had about 150 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. So he looked good. Yeah. Even though if he loses 7 more pounds, he could be a Heisman candidate.
Yeah. Note to the announcers.
And his
keep
name
quiet.
Is Allen. It's not Braylon Edwards.
Yeah.
But
that's another note to the illustrious announcers that are handed out to watch my Badgers play. Yeah. Sometimes just tune in the local radio, guys. You're better off. Anyhow.
But the big thing with the Badgers to me and their success this year begins and ends with Graham Mertz. Now, I know a lot of listeners and viewers of this, when they think of Graham Mertz, you think of what the media portrayed and just the abysmal quarterback play of the Badgers. And yes, he definitely had some issues last year with decision-making and turnovers. But if you actually watch him play, he can make every throw in the book. He's got the size and the arm talent to actually be pretty good as long as he's not turning the ball over. And he looked good.
Yeah.
Like, really good. Now, granted, Illinois State, and we'll see what he can do against Washington State here this week, but 14 of 16, 219, 2 touchdowns, is 2 incomplete passes. The first one was just a pure drop on a perfect pass on a slant route, and the other one he was kind of thrown away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Graham Mertz looked good.
Yeah.
And didn't put any passes in a position that
Yep.
could be picked off, which was the big thing.
Yeah. I too thought Graham looked very good. Uh, Mr. Mertz there has broke my heart on an occasion or two, and thankfully has not broke my wallet. So that being said, I agree with you. If he plays well, if he can get above game manager abilities and play well, Wisconsin will win the West.
Yeah,
No doubt in my
probably.
mind.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
I mean, they're definitely in that conversation.
Yeah.
For this game, though, in particular, I made the Badgers about a 3-touchdown favorite in this one. So I know you mentioned no action because it's close to home. For me,
It's not close to home.
yeah. Grew up watching Wisconsin, obviously, growing up
Yeah.
there. But, I mean, you got to put the heart aside a little bit on this one. I do have the Wisconsin Badgers minus 16.5.
No.
That has already been bet. I think they win this game because, as you mentioned, I don't think Washington State will be able to move the ball as effectively.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about with the Wisconsin defense is not putting anything on tape. They've got the massive showdown week
Yeah.
4 that will determine potentially the Badgers season
Yeah.
and when they go to Columbus. And in week 1 there, and again, it was Illinois State, but Wisconsin and Leonard really didn't do anything outside of base. They didn't bring any exotic blitzes. It was very just vanilla.
Yeah, I agree.
And that was just fine, but you did see Illinois State move the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
With this one, Washington State is that next step up competition level. I think he'll ramp it up just a little bit, but I'm not worried about the Badger defense. And like I said, I like them to cover this number.
All right. So you got that. Badgers to cover against Washington State. I'd like to thank everybody for listening in to the HRO Sports Betting Podcast. Once again, we'd like to thank the High Roller organization for giving us the opportunity to bring this insight into the big games that are coming up in week 2 in college football. And I wish all of you the best of luck, and make sure you cash those tickets at the window. Take care.